Well, Cavan, congratulations on the film and congratulations on your performance as well. A really, really tough watch and not a flattering portrait of masculinity at all.
No.
Was that part of the reason that you accepted the film and indeed the role?
I think that was definitely one of the reasons, one of the parts. Yeah, I think it was. I think it's a very, very layered script. There's lots going on, and the more I sort of looked at it, yeah, the darker it got. He's in a very tough place, Simon. Yeah, but again, the genius of Gerard is it's actually, I found it very funny as well. Even though you know that this is it's dark material, but it did make me laugh. It really did.
It does have a very dark sense of humour.
Sort of in the most excruciating way, right? I mean, you're not laughing at him; you're laughing because it's just so sort of desperate in a sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, had you seen any of Gerard's work before?
Yeah, I was a big fan of Gerard's work, and I saw one of his short films many years ago. I was just saying this that I had a feeling years and years ago that I was going to work with him. He has the same sensibility that I really adore in films, in the films that I've made. I've tried to sort of I've used the same techniques and tried to do the same sort of thing. So he was making the films that I would have loved to have made, really, as a director. So when I got the script, I was delighted. So as soon as I knew it was him, I was just like, oh my God, yeah, this is great. I'm going to read this. And then when I read it and I saw the part and I saw what it was going to take, I just was like, no, I've got to do this. This is just, it was a joy from start to finish.
So when you came to work with him, was it as you expected? Did you get on in the way that you expected to?
I think we became really good friends. I mean, I think I've got on with him more than I've got on with anyone else I've ever worked with before. I mean, we're of a similar age. We had a sort of shared interest in that sense. You know what I mean? We'd been in the same places when we were young. We both was in that clubbing era, like of the late 80s or whatever. So it felt like we'd been mates for years, actually. And again, like I say, because of the way he works and his sensibilities, I just was like, mate, this is a match made in heaven. Do you know what I mean? It was great. I loved it. Yeah.
It's great when that happens because then it becomes sort of more instinctive.
Absolutely.
And you're kind of working to the same mental script, as it were.
Totally, yeah, and it felt like there was just a short. I mean, we did quite a bit of rehearsals before we shot, so we talked about, which was just generally just reading the script, just making sure that everyone was on the same page. But actually, when we were shooting, we didn't really talk much about it. We just sort of, if I got a thumbs up, and I was happy with that, and we didn't have to talk much about it because I think we both felt it. Do you know what I mean? We all felt it, Craig as well. Do you know what I mean? It was like we sort of knew what was needed, and I think it's a good script. I think good scripts and good directors and good people working together. It's just like it was a dream job. Honestly, it was great.
Yeah, it's like magic when it works like that. Really,
really is. Yeah.
What sort of preparation did you do for the role apart from rehearsals? I mean, I'm thinking in terms of the physical side because obviously we see you change as the film goes on. So did that take you down the gym?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I had to put on a bit of weight before we started the film as well because we wanted Simon like soft. And so I put on a few kilos before we'd even started the film. So for the first section, so I looked a little bit I look a bit out of weight there. And then we took a 12-week break where I basically just tried to get as big as I could in that period of time. And I didn't really understand what that would take. I'd never been to the gym before, and I've definitely never lifted any weights before. I'd done a bit of running in the past, which was my thing, of running and swimming. And when I read the script initially, I thought, oh, this is great. I'm going to get ripped. I'm like really up for this. And then slowly over the weeks, I suddenly realised that this was a different type of look. We were going for this sort of dirty bulk look, which is like sort of very blocky. And Gerard would send me pictures and I'd be like, well, that's fat. Hold on a minute. And then, then they put me on this diet and this program, and towards the end of that diet, I was eating like literally 7,000, 8,000 calories a day. I was just like stuffing like a duck, you know, just like gorging myself on food, and then lifting like heavily as well. Yeah, it's pretty relentless. The eating is just like, how guys do this? Like, it's just crazy. The eating was just a bit of a struggle, but yeah, we got there. I mean, I really enjoyed the whole process, the weightlifting process. I had a great trainer. It's something I've carried on after I made the film. It really changed my life in that sense. But I wouldn't recommend the bulking. It's awful.
So actually, it gave you a bit of an insight as to how some people actually get hooked on what becomes a way of life for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, you know, Simon's character goes into this very naive, like he's very naive. He doesn't really know what he's getting into. And for me, that was a gift because I was doing exactly the same thing. So not only was this a great experience in terms of like a physical transformation, it just that 12-week period of just having to go through all this stuff where you have all these different emotions. You know, there's anxiety there, there's anger, there's like feeling sick. Like literally, I was like throwing up the first week because of all the, you know, your body's not used to it. So it was a really great experience. It brought so much to the character. Like when I got onto set, I knew what Simon had been through. You know what I mean? Physically and emotionally. You know, it was wonderful. And
you obviously had a personal trainer, but hopefully not like Terry.
Well, you know, he was he was a tough cookie. I mean, he wasn't like, I'd moan about the eating quite a lot, and also there's a thing there's which I learned is there's dirty bulk, which is just cram food in, whatever, burgers, everything, just get as big as you can. Or then there was people talking about a clean bulk, which is trying to do it in a better way, which is good fats and good carbs. And so I was trying to do that, a clean bulk, and he was like, mate, we've got 12 weeks, just, you know, get big. and also I'm not a young guy anymore. Like, I was 46 when we started this. I'm thinking, if they're going to leave me fat here, I'm just going to end up just getting like really fat, and then they're going to finish the film and go, bye Cav, get on with it, you know. And so there was that anxiety there going on as well, which was but I, you know, I'd do it again tomorrow in a heartbeat, and you know, it was fabulous.
So your main relationship in the film, of course, is the one with Terry, Craig Fairbrass. Did you have to audition with him to get the role?
No, I didn't audition with Craig. I auditioned on my own. It was a really great casting. I mean, like I said, I read the script and I thought, I really want this. I'm not that this is mine, and so I took a few chances in the casting when I done the casting, and luckily they paid off, you know.
So how did you go about developing that sort of on-screen relationship with him? Did you sort of hang out together, or did you actually stay apart deliberately? Because I know sometimes actors will do that.
No, actually, well, once I got the part, then we done some rehearsals, and it was just great. You know, I'd never worked with Craig before. The script, like I said, the script's very funny, but also Craig is very, very funny. Like, he's like, I think he should do comedy. He's like, his timing is immaculate, and he's just really dry. He's got such a great dry sense of humour.
That would be something to see. I mean, that'd be really playing against type for him, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And he could definitely do it. I mean, I've worked with loads of great comedy actors, and he's like one of the funniest guys I've worked with. I mean, he's like, I've spent most of them at the rehearsal just cracking up, like just like on the floor in stitches. He was great.
That's kind of difficult when you're making a film like you were making.
Yeah, well, maybe that's partly some of the reasons, because we are dealing with some really sort of tricky, like dark material, and I think probably the audience as well are expressing a sort of sense of humour because it's so uncomfortable in some senses. Do you know what I mean? You need to sort of have some emotional release, and sometimes that comes out as laughter. Do you know? Yeah. But yeah, so we had a nice period where we got to know each other, like during the rehearsals, and then when we got on set, we were up in Newcastle, and it was just great. We were in this amazing gym called Atlantis Gym, which was a character in its own right. You know, like as soon as you walk into that place, it's got such a, like, it tells such a story, and almost it dictates your story as like, for me it was like, it brought up these memories of when I was a kid. This community, like, I used to go to boxing clubs and stuff, that community boxing club, and it had a big part on my backstory for Simon, that actual gym. I felt like it was a place that he'd visited when he was a kid, and he had good memories, maybe the last time he had really good memories, and he wanted to relive that in some way by being in that place with these men, you know. Like,
and there are times really when the film's actually very sort of claustrophobic. There's lots of interiors, and of course Craig himself, he's big and intimidating. I mean, you said you had lots of laughs, but were there times when you actually started to feel a bit uncomfortable with the whole thing?
well, you know, he can go to them places, you know, and he's quite an intimidating character. There's one scene in particular where I'm upstairs in the bedroom and he's invited some friends around, and you know, we shot that scene at the same time. Like, they were filming me upstairs while that was going on downstairs, and I had an earpiece in so I could hear everything that they were saying. And he was also working with two guys that weren't actors. They were from the gym, and they were also quite, like, sort of very intimidating guys. And you know, what Gerard will do is, you've got the script, but then you let it go. You improvise around what he's given you. And they were going to some sort of dark places. I mean, someone pulled out some knives, and all that stuff was just like, and you know, when Craig wants to be scary, he's really very scary. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, I never felt unsafe with him. You know, I actually trusted him in every way, because he's a consummate professional. Do you know what I mean? And he's a very, very good actor, and he really cares. You know what I mean? So I never, you know, I always felt like I'm in safe hands here. Do you know what I mean? But it's good to know that we were both, like, trying to push each other and then push each other as far as we could. You know what I mean? In terms of, like, I guess in Craig's, like, the vulnerability and like, just we really, like, wanted to go as far with the characters as we could go. Basically.
Yeah, that was a really uncomfortable scene. I remember that one very well indeed.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the film was shown at the London Film Festival last year. Did you get to see it there?
Yeah,
It's ages ago, doesn't it? Last year.
I know. It's crazy talking about it now. It's like, it feels like sort of ancient history, right? It's like, oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. We saw it at the London Film Festival. It got a great response there. You know, Mike Lee turned up one night, which basically just blew all of our minds. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, it was wonderful. We done some Q&As around it, and it was the first time that we got to see it with a bigger audience, and just got a general sort of feel for how people were going to go with it, because it is, you know, it could have been quite polarizing, this film, but actually people really sort of embraced it and enjoyed it, and you know, I think yeah. I don't know. I think it's maybe, I don't know. How did you find it watching it from a woman's point of view? How was that? I mean, I guess it could be seen as quite
I found it a very tough watch. I found it quite uncomfortable, and I've seen some of Gerard's work before. I saw Hyena, so I kind of knew what I was in terms of the tone. But I knew when I saw his name on it, I thought, well, this is going to be worth watching, and it's going to be strong stuff, and I know it's going to be strong stuff, and it was. But I really enjoyed it. And like you say, it's got this dark humour as well, which sort of counterbalances it, which I think helps.
Yeah.
So, but the great thing is, of course, all things being equal, Muscle is going to be on in cinemas in this country,
I know.
as well as online.
Yeah.
How does it feel to know that it is actually going to make it into cinemas?
Well, I'm really pleased. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many people get out to see it, because we've had just the whole lockdown and the COVID thing, but I think it deserves a cinema release, and I think it actually, you know, it looks great on big screen, and I hope that people go see it there. It really made me happy. But actually, you know, we were talking about this whole COVID thing and the streaming and people wanting, like, to see sort of video on demand and stuff. We might just get a bigger audience because of that. Do you know what I mean? Because people are streaming so much these days.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it'd be great to see it on the big screen, but
yeah.
also there's a side of me that thinks, well, because it's such a claustrophobic film, it might actually work just as well on a small screen.
I think it will work on
Works
both.
in both places.
Yeah, I think so. But generally I like to watch films on big screen.
Yeah, so do I, to be quite honest. I mean, that's what they're made for at the end of the day.
Yeah.
To be seen.
And you know, like Matt has done such an amazing score, and the sound on this, like it's amazing what he's done. So seeing it on big screen makes a lot of difference, yeah, in terms of the music that he's provided and stuff. It's brilliant. Man.
Well, let's hope lots of people go to see it, because it's definitely worth seeing. Thank you so much for your time. Being great to speak to you.
Oh, you too. Lovely, Freda. Thank you.